Hi, everyone, this is Rob Roy, and welcome to the HUBB Financial Crypto Show, where we'll be talking all things crypto with Mr. Brandon Burton in just a moment. Before we get to Brandon, let's just take a quick look at what's going on in the markets as we are now underway trading in the new administration, and so far, so good. We're moving to the upside here. We completed this downward zigzag pattern. That was a corrective pattern within the corrective wave 4, so that all makes sense. A lot of you talk about zigzags being corrective patterns. I like to trade them directionally as well, but they are by nature corrective patterns. So to find one in the wave 4 was pretty apropos with Elliott wave. And since then, we've held the wave 4 right around a 50% corrective level, which also coincided with that 100% extension on the downward zigzag. So we can go ahead and take that off so that it cleans up the chart a bit. Now you can see what's happened with the markets since we started trading, just basically straight up, almost getting a little too vertical for me. I much prefer the 45-degree angles, but so far so good on what's occurring in the equities market. I did want to look at the bond market real quick and chat with Brandon about any sort of impact that may be having at all with rates. But we had wave 5 that went exactly to 100% on TLT. So really a perfect zigzag. Very unusual. We talked about this last time for the bond market to move this severely, to move this far, this fast. Makes directional moves, but usually not this quick. And to find the wave 5 right at 100% extension, right in the tap box, and then bounce back to the upside. Now we are ticking down a little bit in prices today, so yields moving up just a hair, but yields have been moving down. Rates have been moving down just a little bit here over the past few days, and that's certainly helped to keep a bid under the equities market. All right, so that's enough about equities. Let's get what you're here for and talk about the crypto world. How you doing, Brandon? You out there?
All of it's intertwined, right, Rob? So it's like that's what we're all here for. Yeah, I'm out here, dude. Holy crap, busy week. Inauguration. Did you watch the inauguration, Rob?
I did watch the inauguration.
Yes, crazy. So obviously awesome. I thought it was great. I thought it was not entertaining. I thought it was everything that I thought it should be, actually. So I think I'm good with it.
Yeah, no, I thought
A
it was good
lot.
too, and I thought it was a lot more presidential than the first time around. So you can tell the difference.
He's learned a lot, hasn't he? I
It seems
think
like
he
it.
has, for
Yeah,
real.
yeah, it does.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think,
So let's get
no,
to
it's
some of the news of the week. You said it was a
that's
busy
why
week
we're
for us.
yeah, man, it was a crazy week. Obviously, we saw a lot go down. And I don't know if you missed or not, but MicroStrategy in December, they put out a vote for their shareholders and they wanted to increase the amount of stock that they could issue. They wanted to increase it from 330 million to 10.3 billion shares. And as an outsider looking in, you're like, what the heck are you talking about? But when you look at the stock counts at like companies like Apple, Amazon, they're close to that many stock notes they can issue or whatever it is. So it's really not crazy. But when you're doing a 30x on the amount of stock you can issue and saying, oh, we're going to dilute the shareholders this much, typically as a shareholder, you would say, nah, we're good. But
Yeah.
55% of shareholders got the majority vote, voted yes, they're good with a 30% basically stock dilution. And obviously, this isn't going to be all released at once. This is going to be released in tranches. And what's going to happen here is similar to their 21-21 plan. Is they're going to release shares at the money and sell them into the market and buy Bitcoin with that money. This last week, MicroStrategy bought 1 billion. That's with a B, dollars worth of Bitcoin. And they're just going to continue doing that all day long, every single day. So that's why MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, I guess you should say, decided he wanted to do this when everything's looking good rather than try to seek out this vote in a bear market. He's like, everybody's happy. Let's go ahead and get this vote on the board. And so we can buy up to 32 million Bitcoin with that money, which that's not mathematically possible. So the price of Bitcoin, let's say, is going up. But that's not the only thing that happened over the weekend. We saw Donald Trump hold true to his promise here, and he started getting a crypto task force put together. This is huge because what the crypto industry has wanted this entire time is SEC regulation that they can comply with. That's what we lack with Gary Gensler in office, and that's why everybody hated that guy so much, is because he's basically like, you need to follow the rules. even though we haven't made any rules, you need to follow the rules. And if you don't follow the rules that we haven't made and they're completely arbitrary, we're going to sue you. So this is going to get some framework for the crypto industry. And this news, obviously, a huge bit of news for those that know. The next thing that Donald Trump promised was that he was going to go ahead and release Ross Ulbricht. If you don't know who he is the Silk Road founder. And he's the guy that kind of orchestrated a lot of different things. I mean, there's not a lot of positive things you can say about Ross, but obviously, I don't know if he was charged to 2 lifetime sentences plus 40 years, and Donald Trump released him yesterday. So he was a Silk Road founder. Basically, it'd be like Rob. It's like if you created a website like eBay, and you let anything happen on eBay, whatever, people could buy and sell goods or whatever it is, and then you go to jail because people are buying and selling guns and stuff because you're aware of it. So it's one of those things. Anyway, so it's a whole, you could go through the ups and downs of this, but he released him. He held true to his promise, and that's the important thing here is Donald Trump is keeping his promises. But the big thing that happened over the weekend is Donald Trump released his own meme coin just hours before. Well, not hours. I mean, a couple days before his presidency. That thing went from 18 cents. One guy put in $1 million at 18 cents, obviously an insider. He cashed out $300 million the next day. That's pretty good gain on your money. When that coin went all the way to... That's not bad, too. I would take that any day of the week. Helps to be an insider when you know Donald Trump. He made a pretty penny. In fees alone, Donald Trump and team have made about $500 million. They then transferred a lot of that money over to the Ethereum network into their World Liberty Project. And in turn, as commemoration of him becoming the 47th president, $47 million of Bitcoin, $47 million of Ethereum, and then $4.7 million of Link, Aave, and a couple others. He is holding true to his word. He wants to be known as the crypto president. Rob, I do not know how you could be negative in any way, shape, or form on Bitcoin or the crypto space right now. And anybody shorting or not buying Bitcoin with every extra little bit of money in their paycheck every single month, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. So there you have it. That's our little rundown over the last little week. That's the small snippet of news that we had, I guess, of the multitudes.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the Trump coins and Melania's coin. They've come back down though a bit, though, right? I mean, they moved up and then came back down a little bit.
Man, that's crypto, and that was expected. I mean,
volatility.
Yeah.
So that guy obviously cashed out in appropriate time, as he said. That's a pretty darn good gain. Do you have any information on when Trump may start acquiring Bitcoin?
That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, he wanted to create what his words were at the Nashville conference, a Bitcoin stockpile, right? I guess the CEO of Coinbase met with some reporters yesterday. They were asking him the same question. They said, are you worried that he hasn't done an executive order to start the SBR, the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve yet? He said, no. The only thing that I want to see is a crypto task force, which we got, right? The Strategic Bitcoin Reserve is a few steps down the line, and I'm not worried at all. I think it's going to happen, and it's going to happen in its own time. But it's one of those things like it's like if you were going to war with your enemies, right? And you're saying, well, this is where we're going to move all our troops to here, but you send an announcement. Do you do that when you're going to war? No. Same type of game theory with Bitcoin. They're going to launch it, but they're not going to tell us they're launching it until they're in place where they actually can buy the Bitcoin, because once they announce or start to acquire Bitcoin, the rest of the world's going to be in some sort of a frenzy to acquire Bitcoin as well. I think where we need to be looking is at the states. We have multiple states now that have introduced legislation to start these strategic Bitcoin reserves for their individual states. I think Utah was the last one. They just filed yesterday or the day before. They're all going to be buying Bitcoin and putting it on their balance sheets at a state level. U.S. government's not going to be far behind, but I think the states are going to lead this. And we're just going to have to wait and see what the U.S. does. He has a lot on his plate. He has a lot on his plate. I mean, he has to deal with an administration. He has to deal with an administration that just left. That was probably one of the. Well, I'm not going to get political. Never mind. He has to deal with a lot. We'll say that. We'll say that.
I've been saying that too. And But he seems intent on getting stuff done fast, and I know this term is about legacy building for him, so he's got a lot of things that he wants to accomplish. And I was actually going to go back to your comment. I kind of feel like they probably won't tell us when they start actually acquiring it, but like Warren Buffett, whatever, they don't. He doesn't say when he's buying something. It gets displaced in the 10K and 10Q following filings afterwards. We find out, after the quarter what they bought. And you're right. I mean, if they start announcing that, okay, we're going to start buying now, everybody's going to buy and the price is going to go up. He doesn't want that either. He's still a businessman, so he wants to get the best prices. So I wouldn't be surprised we don't hear much about it till after it occurs. I did want to go back and look at the chart of MicroStrategy real quick that you brought up, because you made an excellent point that when you increase the float like that, that normally sends a stock crashing to the downside, and MicroStrategy is hardly blipped. So it is, how fast are they going to do that? Are they going to increase the float over what time frame? And if they do it a little bit at a time and Bitcoin continues to go higher, we may not see much of a movement to the downside. I do think it's going to restrict a little bit of the movement to the upside, right? I mean, when you have that kind of float to overcome, so we may not get too much of a big move. We are in a 5-wave pattern here on MicroStrategy, and we're right at a resistance level here at 400. But that is pretty amazing to announce something like that and really just have a yawn from the market. You don't hear that very often. So some more of the unique things when you get into tying in crypto with everything else. Pretty amazing stuff. And you're talking about Trump's moving their coin over to Ethereum. I wanted to look at the chart of Ethereum real quick. It's got a pretty big descending triangle. It hasn't really participated with Bitcoin. I know that we've talked about this in the past, and you haven't been quite as high on Ethereum as some other areas, which you've been right on, that have moved, XRP, Cardano, etc. Just wondering if you see any, because when you have a triangle, it can break either direction. So we've got a big descending triangle, which does not mean a downside breakout, but do you see a catalyst for it to potentially break higher out of here, or has the market moved to other places and we're kind of leaving Ethereum in the dust a little bit now?
With this, I'm sure you know this, but like yesterday, there was a huge fight with the founder of Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin. He basically fired the entire Ethereum Foundation, not the entire, but most of them left yesterday. Everybody was all up in arms. Everybody's leaving Ethereum because of the way it's been run over the last few years, really. He's been too distracted, letting the layer 2s do most of the work and really not growing the layer 1 that is Ethereum. Justin Sun came out and said, hey, look, you're running Ethereum into the ground. This is how I would run it. He gave some cliff notes that if Vitalik were to follow those cliff notes from Justin Sun, I think it would be back in the right place. And a lot of that is the Ethereum Foundation. I don't know if you've seen it, but every couple of weeks, like every 2 weeks, they sell 100,000 Ethereum. For what reason, we don't know. So when you see, for example, let's just go back to MicroStrategy. If you were to see Michael Saylor sell all of his stock in MicroStrategy, or if like you're in Apple and you see, anytime you see Steve Jobs, or if you see, I don't know who the new Apple guy is, I hate Apple. Anytime you see Apple's CEO, Tim, I think his name's Tim. Anytime if you see Tim sell his stock, right? You're like, oh, why is he selling his crap every 2 weeks? What the heck's going on? So it doesn't give a lot of credence to Ethereum's price. And so it's not been helpful. And so that's a lot of the reason why it's in its downturn. So if we see any inverse to that narrative, or if we see any shift in that direction, that's going to help price.
Yeah, sounds good and makes sense. As always, Brandon, thank you for all your behind the scenes insights, etc. Always love chatting with you. Let everybody know where they can get in touch with you if they want to hear more of what you have to say.
I mean, we do this 5 days a week over at Digital Investor. We'll go ahead and put this over on the link in the description. We'll go ahead and put it on the screen, but check this out. We do this 5 days a week. We go over tokens, we go over game theory, we check out what's worth talking about in the market, what's worth buying as far as tokens go, why those things are moving in depth, and we go over everything A to Z. If you haven't already, check us out.
Yeah. What's your favorite coin right now, right at this spot?
JLP.
Favorite one?
JLP.
Which one? ALP?
JLP.
All right.
Yep.
JLP.
That's
Okay,
it.
gotcha. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yep, right now. Perfect token. It's the perfect one.
Okay.
Anyway.
The perfect one, huh? Okay. Sounds
Yep.
good. Well, I appreciate that, and appreciate, as I said, your comments and insights. Always a pleasure talking with you. Has been a busy start to the administration. I'm sure we'll have a lot more to talk about next time we get together. So thanks again for your time, Brandon. Much appreciated.
Yeah, we'll see ya.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Look forward to talking again soon. Take care.